The Kaiser poll is showing that 73% of people now are actually focused on Medicare from all this, really ever since Paul Ryan was tapped to be on the ticket. We can show you that poll right there, 73%, and the conversation has moved away from the health care law for 59%. You talk about jobs and the economy. People really aren't discussing that, are they? They're talking about Medicare, and they're talking specifically about Governor Ryan's Medicare plans, and they're talking specifically about Paul Ryan's budget and Paul Ryan's Medicare plans. Isn't that problematic for your party?
No, I think it's great. I think I was with Speaker Boehner a day before yesterday. He said, hey, let's go out and have this discussion. It's President Obama who took $700 billion out of Medicare. We're trying to save the program, and I think this is an issue we should be discussing. I don't have a problem talking about Medicare or Medicaid or some other very important issue. Of course we should be talking about that. But I think we've got the winning side of the issue, and Obamacare is not a popular issue for the president. So I think it's fair game.
Would you encourage people to go check out the AARP's, what the AARP says about that and those numbers, and what the AARP says about Medicare Advantage? Because the AARP, of course, as you know, has like 40 million members, and they're the advocacy group for older Americans, and they say they're nonprofit and they are nonpartisan, and what they say about the law is very different from what you say. Would you encourage, everyone to go check that out?
Hey, I want people to look at the full array of information that is out there. And yeah, let's stick to the facts. But let's also look at the Congressional Budget Office that says Obamacare makes medical expenses more expensive. And let's keep to the facts that President Obama did take $700 billion out of Medicare. If we stick to the facts, that's great. Of course, look at that side, look at the other side.
I've now had this conversation 15 times at least. And as you know, it's not taking money out of Medicaid. It's a decrease in spending over time, and it's a decrease that you yourself, I'm assuming, voted for, right, in Paul Ryan's budget in 2011 and in 2012. He had that same number in his budget. Didn't you vote for that?
It's not exactly the same number. I did vote in favor of the two budgets that we passed out of the Budget Committee, that we passed on the floor of the House. I would also encourage people to go look at the fact that Paul Ryan did something with Senator Wyden, a very well-established Democrat, that puts this plan in place to help save Medicare.
But now you're
truly going to get this done.
But now you're criticizing something that you voted for twice, right? I mean, essentially, you voted for it.
No.
You did in Ryan's budget.
No. It's Soledad. But it's a totally different approach. It's not. We didn't just copy what President Obama said. That's not true. That's a misrepresentation. How to actually do it and execute it is very important. And there are two fundamentally different approaches on how to do this. For instance, the Independent Payment Advisory Board, the IPAB, is not something that I support, but it's something that takes that $700 billion that Obama took and puts it into the control of these bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. So I think I don't think it's right. Here's what's important. We're going to have to come up with a bipartisan solution in order to make that work. I think Paul Ryan has showed an aptitude to do that by introducing something with Senator Wyden.
Something that includes those same numbers. Something that includes those same exact numbers that Republicans are bashing.
That's an oversimplification.
Well, it's a very complicated issue. Well, I mean, listen,
yes,
you and I, I'm sure, have both spent way more time than we should have reading the CBO report over the last couple of weeks, I'm positive. But at the end of the day, that same number crunching was voted on by virtually every single Republican in 2011 and then again in 2012. That is fair to say. But
the original criticism was the television commercials and other thing with grandma going over the cliff and that the Republicans are going to destroy Medicare. That's just fundamentally not true. We're supporting this because we want to save Medicare. We have said for those that are 55 years old and older, there are going to be no changes.
There's no question throwing someone's grandma over a cliff is supposed to get attention. It's one of the many ads that's completely over the top.
That's right.
But
and it was inaccurate and unfair.
Change, what you call saving, is a voucher program. Right? You give people vouchers for Medicare.
No, it's not. Absolutely. Soledad, I love being on your program. I'm sorry. It is not a voucher program. It is not. It is a premium support, and that is totally different than a voucher program. And every time somebody says, oh, it's a voucher program, it's false, it's misleading, it's derogatory, and it's inaccurate. That is not what it does. And for those that are 55 years old and older,
give people money to go and buy
their
own insurance, right? Someone gets a stipend of money to go and...
No, it's a
But we're arguing over semantics. At the end of the day, isn't it essentially you would give someone money to go buy their own insurance?
No. A premium support program is different than a voucher program. They're just fundamentally different. And it's intended to scare people that they're going to go through this.
Walk me through how that's
not
different.
What our
so walk
plan
me
does.
through exactly how it's different.
Because some people that have maybe more needs, more medical needs, they have less income, they're going to have more flexibility and more assets to go what they need to do in order to have some choice and flexibility and create competition in the marketplace.
So they'll get more money and they'll be able to go buy something specific. It's choice, right? They get to go buy something.
It's premium support, yes.
Which is they get a voucher to go buy something. I mean, I think we're arguing really over semantics here. You know what? We actually kind of have to move on.
I would disagree.
Let's talk, but I want to keep discussing this. There's lots of elements of the budget that we can walk through, and I would appreciate it. So we'll keep this conversation going, because I actually think a lot of people are very confused about this, and the ads that are over the top on both sides, I will add, certainly don't help on either side. Always nice to see you, Jason Chaffetz, with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Soledad.